Hello, I'm hard at work fixing Alistair's flute actually right now, but you can give this to your student for all it's worth, and maybe it'll unlock something. So based on the short video that I saw, it's very common when we start our journey on the flute to use too much force. I have a very particular set of experiences and skills because my father is a grandmaster of martial arts. So when you grow up with somebody who is not just into martial arts but is in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame and spends all day every day dedicating their time to mastering the art of a physical art, making your body do something, there are a lot of parallels that I've learned that fit perfectly on flute. Rule number one, flute is an instrument in which the better you get, the less force you use. Universally, no matter what style or who you're talking to as a professional flutist, I've learned that we all say the same thing, is that the more mature we get, and the more comfortable with the pedagogical skills that we learn, we apply less physical movement and less physical force. In martial arts, when you start out, you think that punching means you tense up your fist and you use all of your strength. But then you get a little more advanced and you realize that it has a lot to do with the shifting of your body. It has a lot to do with how you stand. It has a lot to do with releasing tension. All of these things we do as flute players as well. In your particular case, I saw the student's upper lip, they were crushing their bottom lip like this on the lip plate. Like you said, the flute was too high on the lip, but let's dig in scientifically. If the lips are supposed to be parallel and supple, okay, so that we can develop and use techniques on the inside of our body to modulate pressure, and that makes all the advanced beautiful things happen on the flute. The lips are just a valve to release air, and it's really the aperture, the hole in between the lips, that is responsible for the size, which we call the volume of air, and the shape of it, which will give you a different speed of the air. So if your lip shape, your aperture shape, of course, and Becky will tell all of this to you, if your aperture shape is too large, then the airspeed will go slower. And if your aperture, the hole in your mouth, your lips, is small, just by scientific principle, that same volume of air, if you're blowing the same amount, will be much, much faster. And this helps us get to different ranges on our instrument. What I saw was your lips were being crushed by the flute because it was too high up, and that was, your upper lip was overcompensating. In the video there's a whole bunch of movement. I noticed, especially as an educator, before you played, you didn't do this and blew in a relaxed way. There was a lot of twitching and a lot of too much muscle happening in your upper lip. So notice when I'm doing even this miming, I'm placing my finger, which represents the lip plate, underneath the lip, so that both lips, the top, if this is the top lip and this is the bottom, if you move your lips in tandem, they will work together and they'll be flexible, so that you can take your lips equally away from the lip plate. You can push both of them forwards from the lip plate. If it's too high up on your bottom lip, you are paralyzing the flexibility of your bottom lip, and your upper lip has to do all of these unnecessary movements and learn bad habits that no professional flute player actually uses in everyday use. So that's, in a nutshell, what I saw. Becky astutely told you, Professor Aronson, astutely told you to put your flute below the lip. Initially it's going to feel uncomfortable, but trust me, you have to get used to the fact that advanced flute techniques are not muscle. I've always used the metaphor that flute players are like archers instead of sword fighters. Archers are people who spend a long time pulling the bow, and the whole thing is to get accurate movement. They stay there for a long time, and when they know everything is in alignment, then they release the arrow, and it hits the target perfectly. So flute is the same way. We're all about accuracy and keeping movement to a minimum so that we can predictably anticipate the sound that's going to come out. A lot of us, when we're young, we use way too much pinching of the lips. We use way too much tension of the fingers in a way to grasp for something we're not aware of yet. We've all gone through this in our journey. I look young, but I'm 40 years old. So I've played flute for a very, very long time. And if you ask anybody who's an older flute player, they'll tell you the journey is the same. All of us went through what you're going through. So be patient and be always ever mindful that if you're not successful in something that you're working on in your lessons, try to do less physical motion. If the teacher says move your lips forward, anticipate that as a student you're moving it too much. It doesn't mean that the solution is not to move it forward. It just means your first instinct is to move it this much, whereas the professional is talking about moving it this much. Okay? I hope that helps from my perspective, and I'll get back on making sure this flute sounds great.